the spoilers were half true. According to one spoiler, there was supposed to be that the effect didn't happen immediately. And while it were true, the effect didn't happen immediately. Apparently, it was enough for Droite to give up. Yes, this is a Black Clover chapter 189, a very heartwarming chapter, but also a very tear-jerking one. I can admit though, immediately at least, I didn't feel the same emotion as I felt when Luck was there. But there's no denying that this was a very emotional and warm-hearted moment. But it was also sad, in a way. Because now we have gotten the first proof that yes, it was humans who who killed the elves. However, it's worth noting that it was the royal. But this seems to actually answer one question. A very horrifying question, though. I mean, royals have always been scum most of the time. There's only a very few exceptions. What I'm trying to say is, all royals apparently have immense amount of magic. And this chapter suggests there's a reason why. So the angry anime fan, the despair reviewer, here to tell you. First of all, we see a inblick of the real Gorge inside of his mind. Always saying that humans betray each other and saying that he didn't have to have happiness anywhere else. He could be ESP with Mari, but then he remembers Black Ball. Droite was hit by the attack, and everyone looks in awe. As he falls down on the ground, suddenly he remembers his execution again, including the fact when their magic was sealed, as well as stolen, because apparently and here is revealed that the ones who took that power were the kings and queens of royal people, who used a magic tool to when their magic was sealed and then fired up the light magic and took their magic, which seems to which seems to imply that that's the reason why royals have such strong magic, because their ancestors stole that magic from the elves who were loved by Mana, and therefore it's been genetically constructed. I mean, the scene when we see these shadowy figures of humans is worth noting, though, that almost every single one of them have crowns on their heads. And that is actually pretty strange. I thought there was only one king and one queen. So, and they all begins to say the different things. And but this does seem to confirm one thing, though. While it does confirm that yes, in the end it really was humans who killed them, it appears, though, that the ones it appears that it wasn't the first magic emperor who killed them. There has been many suggestions that it was him because of, well, the light magic, and while that theory is still not done, it's worth noting that the royals here says the princess is the last cause, meaning that Tata was a princess. And just the fact that they did that is horrifying. Unfit to be royal, they all said. So, and it was, and they even said that this magic power rightfully belonged to them because they were royals, and they should become god of this earth. So, well, yeah, these were true scum. These royals were true scum, becoming arrogant of it all. However, there's one thing that is still not making sense in that flashback. While I have no denying that the nobles really were that greedy, it's worth noting, though, that their ambition of becoming gods never really happened. I mean, okay, maybe it happened a little bit. They became very powerful while the poor suffered. Yes, I understand that. But if you think about it, they could have conquered almost everything else. And they haven't. In fact, they had to rely on a sorcerer emperor for power. So it still doesn't really explain that thing. But I think we are having one more clue now on what really happened. The clue is there that yes, it was humans who killed them, but it wasn't the first Sorcerer's Magic Emperor. Lich fell into despair, turned into a demon, and then the first Magic Emperor stopped him because he was his friend. And then took the took control of the kingdom as best as he could as the first Magic Emperor, or maybe he was put in a position where he couldn't refuse. But Tita apparently was a princess. Just further shows just how could these humans be that cruel. But it's worth again noting that these were a selected few royals. It wasn't the entire human race. So again, while we can definitely see why the elves hate royals, it does not justify their killing of the other humans. So even Droite couldn't really know what that irrational anger and that selfish desire they all had, or nor their baseful death, and he couldn't forgive them or anything else. But being hit by Asta's anti-magic actually made his head clear for a little bit and realize that this is not what humans are. With the spell of it all, it also so that his wicked heart rage is also being quieted down. So he apologizes to Elsa, and she says it's okay as long as she can stay by his side forever. So yeah, we never find out exactly who Ezra was to Droite, but I guess we can presume it was his sister as well as Gosh. As Asta prepares to do that, suddenly we get to a new interesting scene. As Droite mentions that Elf Gosh is mentioning that it will cancel out the forbidden spell like nothing ever happened. And now we get to that one question again that we have been asking us every time. And for the first time, someone is actually asking that for us. And it's the simple question of, Lich, what are you? Because again, this does seem to imply that the very old theory made by the very great Pale Ranger before his account, I mean, he was always great, but YouTube wasn't for the fact that they terminated his account. But my point is, he did talk about there could have been a possibility that Lich gave that sword to Asta, and now that theory is beginning to get stronger. Because what is Lich's end goal? That is really, he's the wild card right now. Is it possible that he is more enraged than any of his other comrades? Or is he secretly helping Asta? Or is it both? Someone is acknowledging that. As Droite slowly begins to disappear, he says his final words to Asta about that that it's a convenient power, but also do you think it exists? The price of using such power must always be paid in the end, always. If nothing else, engraved this deep upon your heart, human. Implying something that while the sword's power is great, it does imply that Asta will suffer something. Or maybe it's just saying that you have freed us from this now, but do not forget us nor our rage. Or something like that. Because purifying will not do all justice. With that, the purification is complete, and Gorsh awakens, as well as Mari, who cries happy tears and is so sad of what's happening. Gorsh just being all tsundere about the base being smashed to pieces and the fact that no one should have saved him. He was just an illegal thing. They all do not care. And he looks at them and lightly blushes and saying thanks. It's worth noting though that he's not crying. Luck didn't. Luck cried, and that was pretty amazing. I would have actually wanted Gorsh to cry a little bit, but I guess it's not his style. He wasn't that emotional. So yeah, of course they all throw their phones over him. Finally, the dream team also lands, as they immediately all being fed to replenish their magic. Finally, as Sora and Noel happens there, while Noel tackles Sora, so they also can land that, because, well, you all know Noel is such an adorable tsundere, so it's not like was jealous of you watching all having all fun. But, so while the first half is very emotional and a little bit terrifying, the end is a very nice heartwarming moment. All of Blackpool is now reunited, and even though Gorsh is being his tsundere self of all them all being there and there and there, well, technically Finral, who is a bit still unconscious, or maybe he's not, is the only one missing out the fun. But he's kind of like that friend, the friend that everyone forgets, who is not, Gordon. So with this, Black Bull is now reunited, And with the Charmy's increase in magic, they will now recover and head after Captain Jammy, because we all agree that Black Bull is the last hope of this kingdom. However, there's just one minor problem I have with all of this. No, it's not that Droite is dispelled. I like that because I would have been annoyed if we would have kept on doing that for another week more. What I'm more annoyed of is the fact that Asta is saying that they will wait till they recover and then they will go after Captain Jammy. Which is true, as I said before. The Black Bulls are the only one who can save the kingdom. But what I'm pissed off about is, okay, Asta, then what about the others? And what I mean others, I mean the other elves that was possessed by your friends. Can't you dispel them first, then head after Jammy? I mean, you know, the portal guy and Klaus and all those stuff. I mean, we're pretty wise to do that now, before they wake up. Or who will know? But now I think we are gonna leave the Gosh side plot and now go to Jammy and co. And I have a very big feeling that battle is going to be despair. Well, think about it. There are still some people we haven't seen yet. We still haven't seen Charlotte again after everything, nor have we seen the other. Apparently, I read somewhere that the new captain of the Purple Orca. I read somewhere that even he was supposedly possessed by an elf. We haven't seen him yet. Oh yeah, and those escapees from the prison and the Vermilion siblings. Yeah, I mean, there are still some loose ends. But we may be just switching to despair for now. So either way, I like this chapter, terrifying and heartbreaking, but also emotional. So give me your thoughts if you have any.